This has been a very good week of content for our podcast. First of all, our newest episode is out now in your podcast feed. It was the most Ulysses-esque episode I think we've ever done. Pretty much a stream of consciousness pod. I had an idea of all the things that we wanted to hit. We just happened to naturally navigate our way through all of it pretty well without missing too much. And so, great pod. It's out now. Should help you as you set your lineups for Game Week 3 before the Saturday deadline. We've also used one thing we didn't do was go through the top 3 and the top score overall and the top score for Game Week 2 in our podcast league, and so there's a video out there that I did a couple days ago about that. And Brian has published an article for our Patreon site. It's made available to the public. You can find it. And so that's there with a number of names, including a couple he did not mention on the pod that are intriguing him, and some that are not intriguing him as he sets his lineup. Always entertaining because it's Brian's writing, and it's basically what you hear from Brian, but in the written word, and you can hear him saying it if you listen to our podcast, even as you're reading it. We referenced in that same podcast the Mojo Table that we like to refer to because Mojo matters. It absolutely matters. How a club is feeling and the momentum it has as it's going about its season is relevant to form for the individual players. And so All-Star listener Ben puts together this Mojo Table for us most weeks. And we referenced it, mentioned a couple of teams from it. We didn't go through it very in depth. I want to hit some highlights here. First of all, at the bottom, both Liverpool clubs are in the bottom 4. Ben's got Liverpool down in 17th and Everton at 19th. Makes sense. Manchester United is down there at 20th. And so in the Mojo Table anyway, we're looking at a potential relegation 6-pointer in Game Week 3 when Liverpool faces Manchester United. Again, that's just referencing the Mojo Table there with that. Moving up, West Ham's down in 14th, which is true. We acknowledged on the pod that there's something weird going on at Leicester. Sorry, not at Leicester, but also at Leicester, who is 15th. No, West Ham in 14th. There's something weird going on there, as well as at Leicester, who is in 15th. Leeds is moving their way up. They're feeling okay with themselves. They're 12th in the Mojo Table, and it seems about right. Obviously, they've got a big game coming up this weekend. Fulham is top half in the Mojo Table. Hard to argue with that, although they would probably feel like they could have gotten all 3 points against Wolves this past weekend. And then Newcastle squeaks into the top 7. They have yet to give up a goal this season. That will likely change when they face first place Manchester City. City is first in both tables, I think. They obviously have won both of their opening 2 matches. I haven't looked to see what the goal difference looks like compared to Arsenal. But in the Mojo Table, City's first, Arsenal's second. Chelsea and Spurs are there too. If this were a fiery temper table, they'd be top 2, but they're 3rd and 4th in the Mojo Table. And so that's just going into a little bit of detail. It does matter how these clubs are feeling because it does impact form, like I said. And I wanted to give a little bit more detail to the work that All-Star listener Ben did in putting this together. So thank you publicly to Ben, but also thank you to you for listening to me and watching me ramble on about this information. Again, reference all the information that's out there that we've been putting out. You are able to be thoroughly equipped for Game Week 3 if you're following along with what we're doing, both in your podcast feed, but also on our social media channels. Thanks so much.